A rainy start to the weekend, but we've got some big USL Championship action coming your way from MSU Soccer Park in Montclair, New Jersey. David Goss and Connor Lade with you along the field as these two teams get ready to go to battle. New York Red Bulls, too, against the Charleston Battery. And Connor, one thing we know, when these two face off, it's always tight.
2 draws on the year, both clubs looking to break that deadlock here tonight. And I know both coaching staffs know this is going to be a high-energy, high-intensity match, and you know that coming into it, and we're looking forward to seeing what comes out of it here tonight, trying to break that deadlock.
1-1 in the opening matchup, 2-2 down in Charleston between these two sides before a weather-delayed game. This, as you say, the rubber right now in the regular season. Let's take a look at the star players. A ton of changes in the lineup today for Charleston, but one guy you're not taking out is Claudio Repetto.
Claudio Repetto, 5 goals in very quickly coming into this league. A local guy that they know very well down in the Charleston area. I mean, look at the sauce on this finish. A true number 9 who's absolutely clinical in the box. Very creative finishes, as you can see there. And he always puts himself in the right area as Zico Lewis finds him, a flick on into the goal. He's been an instant impact in this team, and they're hoping he's going to spark this attack in the second half of the year.
5 goals in less than 2 months on the team. On the flip side for New York Red Bulls, too, this man Omar Sow has finally gotten going.
Omar Sow, that's going to be a highlight that I'm sure he's just rewatching over and over, throwing a Premier League defender on the ground, getting back on the scoring sheet yet again. He's been on fire as of late, which has been huge for this attack, which really in the past couple months has been stagnant. But you look here, Jeremy Raffanello, that's going to be a big key to Omar being excited to get in that box because you do have that service.
Big game coming up for these two sides, trying to get back in line for the postseason. New York Red Bulls 2, Charleston Battery coming up here on ESPN+.
Every year, the average person generates nearly 1 ton of waste, with more than 250 million tons of garbage being buried in U.S. landfills annually. At Covanta, we are working to change that and ensure no waste is ever wasted. We believe the materials discarded every day should be utilized to their fullest potential to preserve the world's valuable resources and generate clean energy for our communities and the world we live in. This is how Covanta is powering today and protecting tomorrow.
We believe healthcare can keep getting better. That we can make it simpler, kinder, and even more miraculous. So we'll keep pushing ourselves to make our best even better. Because that means you will keep getting better too. Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by RootMetrics. And our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power. #1 in reliability 16 times in a row. Most awarded for network quality 27 times in a row. Proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network.
Yeah, Real City.
It's pouring rain, but it's nice and cozy in the broadcast booth. That's Connor Lade. I am David Goss alongside you here for New York Red Bulls 2 against the Charleston Battery. It's lightening up a little bit. We've got a hurricane headed in, I think, in a couple of days, but for tonight, it's perfect conditions for soccer. Let's take a look for the Charleston Battery. 8 changes to this starting lineup. This is a team that has gotten a lot of pieces back, but none more key than Leland Archer and Hogan in that center back spot, allowing A.J. Patterson to slide back out left. Repetto will be in between Penn and Perez up top to continue his goal-scoring form. On the flip side for New York Red Bulls, still a lot of familiar faces, but one a little more unique, Drew Yearwood, just his 3rd USL appearance of the year.
Drew Yearwood coming in alongside Daniel Edelman here today, and I think that's a huge position on this roster. You get a lot of pressure from the front four, but the key in this Red Bull press is to get those ball winners behind, and I think Drew Yearwood slides in there perfectly. He's a ball winner. He's very aggressive, and I think that partnership with him and Daniel Edelman are going to be great today.
John Wolenek and Mike Anheuser, you talked with both these staffs. As you said, they know what's coming in this game.
They absolutely know what's coming. Big energy, big emphasis on kind of being what makes you great. Coach Anheuser and John Wolenek, they know what success looks like in this league. They know how to achieve that, and I think they're excited again to go toe-to-toe.
Former two-time Coach of the Year, Mike Anheuser, alongside that Charleston coaching staff, Jeremy Shear, our head official for this one. His assistant referees in Juan Paulo Casas, Ian Magnon, and our fourth official, Ernie Constantine, as we are kicked off here at MSU Soccer Park in the rain. New York Red Bulls, too, in their home black kits with black shorts going left to right on your monitor, and the Charleston Battery in their white kits with the yellow strip going right to left on your monitors. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Friday night to get your weekend of USL Championship action started, right? We expect a good one between these two sides. As we've said, JC Cortez here, just 17 years old, getting the start at center back alongside Amir Tambul, who returns to the team for New York Red Bulls to a game on Saturday. Canceled against San Antonio FC due to COVID-19 positive cases. And so a few extra days to get some rest in what was going to be a 3-game week. Now New York Red Bulls 2 out here trying to get started early. LaCava in space, up to the feet of So. So looking for LaCava once again. It's lost and battled on the top of the box, still somehow in New York's feet, and then finally cleared away.
New York looking on the front foot here today. We've seen that lately from this New York side. They've had really good starts, and they've capitalized on it. They've got early leads, but the key is once you get that lead, you've got to defend it, and you can tell it's a positive start yet again here today. I'm sure Coach Anheuser is well aware of that as well and has his team ready to go from the start, but very positive right off the bat here from New York. I think you're a little bit more clinical. You get a good chance there.
New York Red Bulls 2. Coming off a 3-2 and 2-1 loss here at home over the last 2 games, as this one comes in to the box, and it's an early lead for the Battery. New York starts on the front foot, and Charleston puts one away early. D.Z. Harmon, one of the many Coastal Carolina alumni in this team, gives his side the early lead.
That's a fantastic goal by D.Z. Harmon. Get the ball wide. Get your head up. Wet ball, defense is stepping up, and D.Z. Harmon does the rest. Fantastic deep line run from him. And what a ball in.
Perez there with the assist. One of the 8 changes to this side for the starting lineup. And the Cuban with his first assist of his USL Championship career.
I talk about fast starts for New York. Charleston said, hold my beer. Here you go.
And Harmon, one of the many players in this group that played college soccer this year because of COVID and the way the season was affected, and then has joined up with the Charleston Battery to give them a boost. Repetto, one of those players, but 5 players that have signed since the season started. And for Harmon, he made his first trip with the team here to New York Red Bulls 2, literally off the back of playing in the NCAA tournament. A week later, he traveled with the team here to New York Red Bulls 2, and now this is his second goal in 15 appearances for the side.
It's quite the pipeline that Coach Anheuser has coming out of Coastal Carolina. You look at Repetto as well. It's such an advantage to get guys that you're very familiar with, you get to play against. But to bring them into your side as soon as they're done, and it's a big plus for him.
And both these players have scrimmaged against the Charleston Battery in preseason games. So Coach Anheuser and his staff knew exactly what they could do, as LaCava now looking for Jorgensen. So Matthias Jorgensen gets his first start of the USL Championship season. Spent the last year or so on loan in his native Denmark and with the New York Red Bull MLS side. But has scored 11 goals in his USL Championship career. What a start here for Charleston on the road. You're coming off a 2-1 loss against Hartford where they felt they were the better team in that game. They just couldn't get the breaks. You've got all these players coming back from injury, and now you get that 1-0 lead to play off of. It's a dream scenario.
Absolutely dream. I mean, on the road, get an early goal. It's fantastic for Charleston. I think you look at this New York backline as well, and I think that's got to be one of the talking points for Charleston. You want to test them. Yet another backline.
Jorgensen gets into the box now, and he's able to tie it up. We knew it'd be tight, and we knew there'd be goals in this one. 5 minutes in, a 1-1 game here at MSU Soccer Park.
Matthias Jorgensen, he knows how to score goals at Montclair State, and you can see how excited he is getting that start here today. He's back, and what a goal. Great ball by Austin Brummett. Matthias Jorgensen only has one thing on his mind, and that's to roof that ball, and what a goal for the Dane.
Jorgensen, his first goal back in the New York, New Jersey area since 2019. His first goal in any official competition since 2019. You could see the emotion on that celebration for that young man.
That's a long road for Matthias Jorgensen. I know it's been tough. You know, he was excited. You know, goes on loan, trying to get some games, goes back home, dealt with a little bit of the injury bug, comes back, he gets healthy. I know he's excited to get back on the field, really get some games under his belt, get some starts. He got that here today and rewards John Wolenek with a goal. Fantastic run as well from him, great timing, and a fantastic look from Austin Brummett as well. I think that's going to be an interesting thing here today. You know, we're still waiting to see what his best position is, but you know, with Jeremy Raffanello behind him, he's going to tuck in a little bit. He's going to find those interior spaces and open up a lane for Jeremy Raffanello to go, but I think it's a fantastic look and a great team goal.
First two chances for New York Red Bulls to have come. The player picking the ball up in that hole right behind the Charleston midfield as Nordarse puts that ball in. Taken by Tom Bull now. Castillo up the line, back in his more comfortable, natural left back position. Deputizing at center back in an emergency about a week ago. As we were saying, it was a dream start for Charleston. We're back where we started.
Couldn't even finish my sentence there.
And we thought, as we said, there'd be chances in this game. There always are. It's two of the teams that are willing to open up and play, and it's what we've seen over the course of the last few years when they've matched up.
I think that proves it's going to be an exciting one, so everyone better buckle up because I don't think those are going to be the only goals in this match.
Castillo up the line, and if they've got the volume on, there is a viewing party down at Patriots Point Stadium in Charleston with the Charleston fans, and it's a good game to pick for a viewing party on a Friday night. You get to hang out, friends and family, and 2 goals in 5 minutes is never a bad way to start a game, although I'm sure they wish they could have held the lead a little bit longer. But plenty more time to play. Joe Kuzminski, one of the 8 additions to this starting lineup, and a huge one for Charleston, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Recorded the save of the year last year in 2020, has had 24 shutouts in his 3 seasons in the USL Championship, and spent some time on loan with Champions League side Maccabi Haifa in Israel as well. It was one of the many injuries that the team has picked up as Lewis is put under pressure. And miscommunication between Cortez, the 17-year-old, and Lewis in goal.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting talking point here today, how J.C. Cortez does, obviously a young promising prospect in this academy. And I know they're excited to see him get the start here today. Was in contention to get that start a couple weeks ago, but due to some roster technicalities, wasn't able to do so. And we all know what happened there, a little bit of a whirlwind before the game. But I know they're excited to see him in there. Really good left-footed center back. He's got good feet. I think it's going to be interesting to see how he does today. Obviously, a very good front line for Charleston, so it's going to be a good test for him today.
He's actually been bitten twice. He was registered to start at Charleston in the game that was delayed because of weather, as we get a run here from A.J. Patterson. Cross put in. Chance here on the far post, and Penn shot is in. Josh Penn on loan from Inter Miami. His first career goal for the Charleston Battery.
What a goal. Perez gets to the end line and just lays a beautiful teasing ball across. Excuse me, it wasn't Perez.
I think it was Patterson.
Patterson just beautiful 1-2 and just plays a perfect cutback ball for Penn, and he does the rest. Castillo tries his best, but just is beaten, and I think this is yet again Charleston, another punch. What a goal.
Not wasting too much time after giving up the lead. A.J. Patterson, he's been forced in to the center back role due to injuries, back at his natural left back spot where he can bomb forward from. And he picks up his second assist of the year. Combined 3 goals in 10 minutes now to open up this game.
Talking to Coach Anheuser, he's someone they love Patterson going forward. They love, his physicality, but also his service that he can provide on that end line and in this final third, and you can see it there, why they are so high in him, and really can play a multitude of positions, center back, left back, get up, play left mid as well. So a very versatile option for this group, but they feel that this left back position is probably his strongest.
25-year-old out of Key Largo, Florida, has been a stud for the Charleston Battery since they picked him up from Wright State. This one now a chance for Charleston to get back into the attack. Penn sitting on the confidence of that first goal, coming inside. Knocked away by Edelman. Good work in central midfield there from Kelly and Failing. And Lewis able to get his body in front of that one. Couldn't control it, and now it'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, Luca Lewis on the opposite end of a nasty skip there, but I think that's going to be a huge thing today. Got a ton of rain right before this, a little water on the field as well, and I think this ball is going to be humming out there. You can see Castillo tried to play one down the line before, just totally skipped out of bounds. So if you're an attacker, you're trying to get things on frame here today and test these goalkeepers.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Failing and Kelly both returning. Injuries to start in the center of the park for Mike Anheuser's side. John Wolonek, you mentioned some youth in the back line with Cortez. Raffanello as well, forced into the right back spot because of an emergency in the last game. Remaining there, what do you see from that move?
I think it's super positive. I love Jeremy Raffanello in that role. I think maybe he would tell you otherwise, but I think for this team, I think he provides an incredible attacking option from the right back position, which we haven't really seen all year. Obviously, Joey Zielinski has played well there, but still getting that attack, getting the timing, obviously trying to figure out what his best position was. I think he's probably a little bit more comfortable in center back, but Jeremy Raffanello is so dynamic. You can tell even at the late stages of the match against against Charlotte, he was attacking until the 90th minute, and I think as a player who loves to operate in that position, that's what you want, and I think it's a great weapon to have there. But also for Jeremy Raffanello, a young player, could be a big future for him in that position as well.
Just 21 years old, out of Delran, New Jersey. Played a year at Penn State after coming out of the Philadelphia Union Academy, but then has taken a bit of a circuitous professional route. Went over to Europe, then signed with Indy 11 last year, scored his first goal in professional soccer, and now back in New Jersey for the first time ever in the Red Bull family. 4 goals, 4 assists from an attacking midfield or winger role, but now playing that right back spot for John Wolinek's side.
And outside of Omar Sow, I think you'd have to say he's probably one of the most confident players on the field right now. I think he's really grown into this season. I think at the start, still trying to learn the system, trying to get his really feet under him, but he's been incredible really the past couple of weeks, past couple months. I think he's been one of the bright spots of this team, and I think even unfazed moving to that right back position.
Here a chance for Raffanello to get forward. Acres of space into the attack. Drives a ball and a little bit too hard over the crossbar.
Just when I was talking about a service, he knuckles one over, but Jim Raffanello, yeah, he gets to those positions, and last game whipped in a lot of dangerous balls. Obviously, I'm sure disappointed with that one, but getting in those spots that we really haven't seen a lot of these fullbacks. Obviously, Castillo, he's gotten forward a lot this year, but from that right side, he's been a bright spot at right back.
Kuzminski now to put it back into play. 3 goals in 10 minutes to open things up here. And the rain ceasing just as we kicked off. So perfect temperature. It's dropped about 10 degrees over the last hour and a half for these players to come out here and put on a show for us. Cortez back to the feet of Lewis. Tom Bull back to the feet of Cortez. Drew Yearwood dropping back to give the center backs an option. Out wide once again for Raffanello. To the feet of Tom Bull. Tom Bull trying to clip it over the top. Only finds white shirts as Patterson wins the ball back for his team.
It's been a little sloppy in the beginning here from Tom Bull and Cortez trying to break these lines. I think if you look forward, you can see Jake LeCava and Austin Brummett behind Falling and Kelly. I think there's so much room to play in there, and really Matthias Jorgensen and Omar Sow, they've got this back line pinned back that it's tough for the two midfielders really to account for. Yearwood and Edelman in front of them, LeCava and Brummett behind them. You got to find these guys in that red zone that New York likes to call it, and that's going to unlock things for New York. So you got to keep looking for them.
Turnover forced by New York. Now the boys in black. Cortez back to Tom Bull. And this time Tom Bull breaks lines into the feet of Sow. Brummett, Jorgensen, back to Sow. Shot, and it goes just wide. That's what you're asking for.
That's what I'm talking about. Great little connection there. I think that's the area that you got to be targeting right now, and I think Kelly and Failing, that's going to be something for them that they've got to be aware of here tonight, and that's going to be a big emphasis. You can see already here tonight.
August is USL Supporters Month, and we want to hear from you. Visit uslchampionship.com/supporters-month for more information on how you can get involved and have a chance to be featured as the supporter of the week. Shout out to all the supporters watching here tonight, especially to all the supporters braving the elements here in Montclair. As Penn now clips this one across, and Raffanello taps it along for a corner kick on the far post.
Penn's been active in this one. Clips in a beautiful ball, just a little too high for Perez, but he got the inside lane there. Both teams, really, they've been going shot for shot here, throwing some haymakers.
So corner kick coming. There'll be Burke Failing to serve this one in. Beautiful ball from Failing. And the whistle goes right in the middle of the box, so a foul called there early on in that corner kick. DZ Harmon with the opening goal with the header, but he's been a nuisance pressing this New York Red Bull 2 backline so far in this one. I went back to Tom Bull. Cortez over the top this time. The Trinidad and Tobago international Leland Archer back in the side with the captain's armband on. Probably as big a return as any of the 8 in the team here today. Huge relief for the Charleston Battery fans and staff. Tom Bull gives it away.
Yeah, how comforting is that for a back line, getting Leland Archer back in? He's been so good for this Charleston Battery side.
Archer again, another one of the guys coming out of a local college, College of Charleston for him. We mentioned the Coastal Carolina guys on the team. Made his Soka Warriors debut in January against the U.S. national team. Was USL all-second team last year at the center back position. He gets the start alongside Patrick Hogan, who's a Charlotte, North Carolina UNC Charlotte native or alum. Part of this local flavor of this Charleston side that's led to their continued success over the last 20 years under Mike Anheuser. And a chance here to stretch the lead. Josh Penn off and running. Castillo trying to run him down. Penn, and his shot is saved by Lewis.
Huge save by Luca Lewis. What an opportunity for Charleston to try to get the third goal there. I love the run from Repetto there to open up room for Penn. And he beats Castillo and just gets out of position a little bit and just can't take advantage of it. I think he's got to take that shot a little bit earlier. Took one too many touches there and just allowed Castillo to catch up, but huge opportunity for Charleston.
U.S. Youth International, Josh Penn showing why he was one of the freshmen of the year in the nation at Indiana last season. The Indy 11 Academy, he has been phenomenal so far in his first start for Charleston. And of course, the Inter Miami staff will be closely watching what Penn does. He was their first round draft pick in the Super Draft this year. He's already made 2 appearances in MLS. At one point, we'll be looking to get back to his parent club, but for now, bringing some big productivity to Charleston on loan. Yearwood can't keep his feet there. And a chance over the top for Harmon. Lewis came all the way off his line, and then the offside flag went up.
For goalkeeper, you got to get that one right, and it's very aggressive there from Luca Lewis, but it pays off. I think that's one thing that John Willett, when he's not always going to come for those, but when he does, he's going to be very aggressive. We've seen that already this year. Sometimes a little bit too aggressive, but I think if, you got to win that or you got to take the guy, and as you can see there, the aggression pays off, takes a good angle on Penn, and is able to make the save.
How much does it affect a keeper like Lewis where you've given him 2 goals already? There's maybe some issues along the back line. How much does that change the way he plays?
I think even you ramp up that aggression a little bit, and I think you can see it here. I think that's, with these young defenders, a back line that, again, yet another back line we haven't seen play all together this year. I think you're going to be off your line a little bit more, and I think you can see him communicating with this back line. He's been having words with almost each and every one of these guys, so he's trying to get the guys organized in front of him, but if it's not, he's going to take things under his own control.
Mike Anheuser appreciating that he gets a chance to put a familiar back line together. Although Frank Noradarse at right back on loan from Inter Miami as well. Just his 3rd appearance for Charleston as Raffanello serves this one in. Brummett's flick on safely into the hands of Kuzminski. But outside of Nodarse, a ton of experience along this back line and this midfield now for Coach Anheuser after going to Hartford and starting Eric McHugh, a young player at center back, and A.J. Patterson, who had never really played center back in his life in that game. LaCava with the turnover. Kelly leading the attack back the other way. No, Darce can't get it safely back to the feet of Penn. So Cortez, as we said, was supposed to make his debut in the USL Championship in the game in Charleston. Went on and has now made 5 appearances and 3 starts. Was supposed to start 2 weeks ago. Was put into the starting lineup, and then because the roster was not properly put into the league in the right time window. He was pulled out of the starting lineup, out of the team, about 45 minutes before kickoff. So it's been an eventful few months for Cortez. Had a little time with, I believe, the Peruvian youth national team as well in there. Has played with the U.S. youth national team sides. Repetto goes down there. So not an easy time for JC Cortez, but, well, it's been a tough start to this game. You can see the excitement around him as a young player.
I think he's an extremely young, exciting prospect. I think seen him play. I think we saw him play in the New York Academy Derby in a 3-back system, which he really excelled in, had a really good game there. And I think this is going to be interesting to see him continue to play at this level and see how he develops. But he's got a really good pedigree, obviously, like you mentioned, youth international for multiple countries. So I'm sure he's trying to figure that out as well. And it hasn't been an ideal start with kind of everything going on, but I think just to be in contention for these starting positions and getting these appearances is going to be incredible experience for him.
Castillo with the low cross knocked away. Edelman winning it back. Brummett surrounded by white jerseys. Pushing it wide. Patterson runs this one down, and he'll let it roll out. AJ Patterson immediately starting the counterattack. Perez with the big switch. Penn running onto it. 1v1 with Castillo. Penn gets inside, lays it off, and then can't link up as Perez had come across to help out.
It's a great spot there from Drew Yearwood. Like we talked before the match, he's got a nose for these situations to break up possession, and it's a perfect spot. Was Penn looking to combine there and getting on the front foot there for Charleston and not trying to get another good opportunity, but he's going to be a great addition in this team. You can tell he's been aggressive so far here today.
Two of the East Best clash to kick off a fall to remember when the USL on ESPN continues. Perennial contenders Louisville City FC travel to Dillon Stadium to meet Hartford Athletic in a potential playoff preview September 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Harry Watling's side getting stronger and stronger, it feels like. Of course, that 2-1 win over Charleston midweek. A couple additions to the side that played a big part. Justin Hack in midfield. Derek Dodson on loan from Orlando City up top as well. So Harry Watling's first year in the U.S. been successful so far, but a matchup against Louisville is always the litmus test for any team in the USL Championship. John Wolyniec very familiar with Louisville City, a couple Eastern Conference matchups, I think 3 in total against them. He'd prefer more wins than losses, but there's a banner still sitting up on the parking garage behind Joe Kuzminski's goal right now.
I think if you're Charleston, this is a result that you desperately want. You look at this playoff race in the Atlantic Division; it's so tight, and 2 teams looking up at really the other 4. It's going to be so close, and obviously New York on the opposite end of things, trying to get results, but it's been a tough stretch, 4 losses in a row, and I think when you have that 4 loss and you get a game canceled, you're just anxious to get to the next one and get things rolling, try to get back on track, but it's been a tough stretch for this New York side, especially at home with multiple games in a month at home and not getting results. It's been disappointing for the group.
All you need to know about Atlantic Division play, as Castillo still dealing with the knock there off that foul, is that Loudoun United has been rooted at the bottom, and they beat Indy 11 4-1 in their last matchup. So unfortunately for the teams in the Atlantic Division, you play your own division teams 4 times in the season, but it shows you the depth and quality, as a yellow card will be shown here too. No Darce for our first of the game.
Yeah, big tackle on Castillo. You can tell he's hurting.
Juan Castillo, a monster performance in the last game. As we said, JC Cortez and Manny Egbo pulled out of the starting lineup minutes before kickoff, and Juan Castillo had never played center back before and did it alongside Kyle Zayats, a natural central midfielder, and was one of the performers of the game.
Absolutely. I think it was an incredible performance. As you can see, Drew Yearwood squirting them with water. I guess it's not that bad, and they're not that concerned. There you go. Lightening the mood there, but what a massive performance from Castillo at center back last match, and I think absolutely one of the heroes of the match for this New York side. You know, was so tough in his 1v1 battles, covered well. You know, really, really impressive from me, and especially for someone who hasn't played that position before. I guess you can add him to the depth chart at center back as well for a center back position that's really been in flux this year for New York.
Yeah, it's been top-down issue at center back. Of course, Aaron Long lost for the season. At the MLS side, Sean Nealis injured as well, who's played a ton of time with New York Red Bulls too. That put in flux where would Andre Reyes play over the course of this season, and the dominoes have fallen and fallen and fallen. And of course, Manny Egbo has been moved around positions as well as teams, Kyle Zayats as well. It has not been simple. It hasn't been easy for John Wolinek's side. Juan Castillo took him a while to get in the country and be available to play. Since then, he has locked down a spot that Matty Acosta, a natural defensive midfielder, was playing early in the year, and he's been a huge addition to this team.
He's been incredible, and you hadn't had a ton of natural left backs in this group, and it's what's been impressive even so when Jason Pondon has come down from the MLS side, he's moved to right back, and Castillo has played there, and I think he's really solidified that position. I think a little bit this year you want to see a little bit more consistency in the 1v1 battles, has gotten a little bit exposed behind, but going forward he's been solid, and I think he's had his really good moments, some really good games of really locking down his matchup, and you're hoping to see him get back on this field and continue in this match.
The 18-year-old Colombian youth international in his first year in the United States. Waiting to get waved back on as Tom Bull heads this into the attack. So, he's it back for Edelman. Out wide now for Raffanello. Raffanello closed down by Perez. And it'll be a throw in here to the home side. Work defensively, though, from Jabel Perez. Yearwood has his block pass. Block pass. That's from you.
Yeah.
You rubbed off on me.
That's the thing. I thought we had a weather delay here that I could get warmed up, but we got straight into it, so it's a little bit weird. So got a little tongue-tied at the start.
You bite your tongue talking about weather delays. Taking the risk with that. New York Red Bulls, too, hosting the Charleston Battery for the second and final time this year. These two teams will face off one more time back in Charleston due to that weather delay. That one coming up later in the year. But it has been an electric start to this one. 3 goals in 10 minutes between these two teams to give Charleston Battery right now a lead on the road as Omar Sow gets called for the foul.
A good little run there and behind by Omar Sow. Just hits him in the back, a little bit unlucky. But I like to see them trying to get him involved. I think it could be, you know, big as well as LaCava and Brummett filled that position behind the sixes and in front of the back line. Kind of that back and forth with Omar Sow and Jorgensen, kind of one checking in, one getting in behind. It's going to be big. So it's going to be interesting to see that relationship develop here today. Two guys that are familiar with each other but haven't played a ton of extended minutes together. It's going to be interesting to see how it is.
So coming back to win the ball for his team. We highlighted him at the start, but it took him a little while, but he's found his scoring form once again. He was the leading goal scorer on the team last year with 7 goals. And now starting to find the mark once again and very close to matching that number already here in late August. We'll have a little sit-down chat with Omar at halftime, learn a little bit more about him. Hogan with the ball up to Harmon. Now Kelly trying to scoop that one into the run of Perez. Edelman recovers for his side. Cuts that ball back to Brummett. So now with runners both sides of him. So laying it off as Edelman gets up the field. Edelman now at the top of the box, surrounded by white shirts. Yearwood, his one-touch pass, not finding a teammate.
I like the idea from Yearwood. Just got to slow down a little bit there and pick someone out. Just kind of gets caught between two guys.
Raffanello's early ball cut out by Hogan. Yearwood has that one bounce well for him. Holds off Harmon. Ball into the feet of So. So shot! Saved off the crossbar.
Wow. What a save by Kuzminski. Omar So does so well on the pass here from Yearwood. Comes in a little bit hot up at his hip, but takes it down so well here and does so well to get it on frame. But Kuzminski gets such a good tip and tips it off the crossbar. Huge save.
Omar So looking for another goal here at home. What a save for Kuzminski. Back from injury, back in the lineup. And Edelman now with the corner kick. Kuzminski punches it away as bodies fall to the ground in the box. And cleared up and out of the stadium.
Such a strong hand there from Kuzminski, and you can tell they're thrilled to get him back in the lineup as well. And keeper who, you talk about Archer in the back, but another guy who really brings an ease to this team, knowing that he's between the pipes.
Coach Hauser saying to us before the game, he's been impressed by how Paul Lewis has performed in just his second year at a Cal State Northridge, but he was very excited to have Kuzminski back in the side, and, well, he showed us why. Big win there from Tom Bull. Harmon back into the feet of Failing. Now Raffanello with the clearance. A little bit of soccer tennis right now between these two teams. Repetto has it taken away. LaCava dips his shoulder and gets out on the run. Early pass intercepted. And then LaCava couldn't figure out what to do with the ball, really, and Nodarse comes away with it.
It's a great dual one there by Nodarse, and I'd like to see Jake LaCava be a little bit more aggressive from that position and set up the defender and really go at it himself.
Chance for Kelly here. One-on-one with Cortez. His shot to the far post just wide.
Great opportunity there from Kelly. You love to see the decisiveness. Get that scissor and take a shot at the far post, but that's something I want to see from LaCava as well, like I was mentioning. Really get after it. As you can see him get ahead of steam here.
And a chance now. Jorgensen and Brummett's shot is blocked.
What a tight window that Jake LaCava just found that ball through into Matthias Jorgensen. I don't think Matthias Jorgensen even thought that it was going to make it in there to him, as looked a little surprised that it did get through and couldn't take that touchdown, but fantastic ball from Jake LaCava there.
End-to-end action between these two teams. And they pulled the lid off the goal early. Repetto now in on goal, and he curls his shot wide of the near post.
It's such a good run by Repetto. The timing is perfect. It's off the back shoulder of Amir Tombol and trying to beat Luca Lewis at the near post, but like we talked about in the pre-match, he's such a true number 9 that he's going to operate in your blind spots, and you've got to be ready for that for Tombol and JC Cortez here tonight.
And the way he took that pass and hit that shot, it looked like a training drill with him. Like, it was so calm and smooth, but he got some movement on that ball and some power as well.
Yeah, you can tell why they're so excited about this guy, and he's just a clinical finisher.
I loved when Coach Hanauer said, yeah, he's a classic big Italian center forward, which means he's lethal in the box. Outside of the box, just don't let him get his body on you.
That's right.
And of course, some of the greats in the Italian game fit that model pretty well. So Yearwood dealing with, I think, maybe something in his eye. Went over to the sideline for some water and back out on the field as sun setting here in Montclair, New Jersey. We had a downpour an hour and a half or so before the game. And it finally stopped moments before this first half kicked off. And then immediately the goals started to pour in. 3 in the opening 10 minutes. The opener from DZ Harmon, followed up almost immediately by Matthias Jorgensen, and then Josh Penn opening his Charleston Battery account moments later. And then this game has not slowed down since.
This has been end-to-end so exciting. I don't want it to stop.
Kuzminski turns it over to Edelman. Makava now somehow sneaks through. Yearwood on the top of the box. The Englishman gets the ball across and can't find a teammate.
I'd like to see a little bit more layered runs there from New York. Looked like Matthias Jorgensen did well to get to the near post, but no one making that back post run.
Repetto back up on his feet. Chance here going the other way. Perez with the curled shot, and Lewis able to finally take it in.
Yeah, ambitious there from Jabal. It's got to be a perfect finish there to beat Luca Lewis, opening up the hips there, and I think a couple of his teammates are asking him to take a touch and set them up for another opportunity there, but this has been truly an end-to-end first half.
Both these teams looking for more goals. They don't want to close up shop in any way. In both these sides, they've got some huge attacking pieces on the bench. Zico Lewis, Stavros Zarakostas, Romario Pigo, the Q daily for this Charleston Battery side. As Patterson now put under pressure in his own box. And he's able to keep it for going out for a corner kick and clears it all the way up the other side.
Much to this dismay of a bunch of Red Bull players. I think they're asking for a corner kick there, but the referee disagreed.
On the flip side, Serge Goma and Luther Arshimidi. Some bright attacking pieces on the bench for this New York Red Bull 2 side. Goma coming off maybe his best appearance so far of his young professional career. No, Darce gets inside of Castillo. Can Penn run this one down? He does. One-on-one again, and Castillo wins this battle.
No, Darce does so well to break the press there. He's just got to lay that ball a little bit softer in from Penn to be able to make that first-time ball. Just makes it a little too difficult, but Penn does so well to track that down and gain a throw in deep in the Red Bull half.
So it looks like it'll be a long throw coming for the Battery, which New York Red Bulls 2 players not happy with how long it's taken, but it'll be Harmon to take the throw. Harmon throws it into the box. No Darce up to win it. And it'll go out off of No Darce for a goal kick. New York Red Bulls 2 chasing at home for the third time in 3 games. The goals have finally come for this Red Bull 2 side, but the wins have not followed. A 3-2 and 2-1 loss here so far in what was supposed to be a 4-game homestand. That San Antonio game now will be replayed coming up in the middle of September, I believe. So what can New York Red Bulls 2 do before they're forced to head back out on the road down to Miami?
If you look at it, it's going to be a gauntlet of the next couple of games for New York. At Miami, at Pittsburgh, it's tough. So they're going to look to get a result here tonight, kind of break this losing streak, because not ideal going into places like that, trying to get break a losing streak. But who knows, because they have gotten some good results on the road, so I don't know. Maybe they're a little bit more comfortable on the road.
No Darce to serve this one in. Headed on the far post, and Repetto once again. 7 goals in 10 games. No one can stop Claudio Repetto.
Look at the celebration. Look at the confidence from Repetto there, and it's a fantastic ball in from No Darce. You can see as the build-up giveaway from New York. Jeremy Raffanello. You know, Darcy gets his ball in a deep line position, gets his head up, knows exactly what he wants to do, and puts it in the space behind Jeremy Raffanello. Jabel Perez just lays it on a plate for the big man, and Repetto does the rest, puts it in the roof of the net. Charleston's got to be thrilled getting a late goal, put it 3-1 before the half.
Perez, his second assist of the game. His second assist of the season. And what a performance here for Frank Nodarce. You can see he's a center back. Mike Anheuser said it. It's not hard to guess. He's about 6'4", maybe even 6'5", as we have a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time announced by our fourth official. But he has not looked out of place at right back over these 3 games.
No, he can move. You know, he's got really good positioning, not afraid to go forward, and obviously can tell very good service on him, puts a ball perfectly on Perez's head on the back post, and you know, he looks comfortable in this right back spot, and you know, for this back line, to have a piece like that you can move around and be successful, it's an incredible option for Coach Anheuser to have.
He links up with his Cuban Youth International teammate in Perez, part of what has become a factory of Cuban national team players in the Charleston Battery history. Of course, Michael Chang, one of the all-time greats in USL Championship history, as well as Ozzy Alonso coming through the Charleston Battery as LaCava one-on-one now. He gets by Nodarce. LaCava into the box, and he flashes it wide.
That's what you want to see from Jake LaCava. You want to get him isolated in these 1v1 positions, and you know he's going to be confident going on that left foot, but to get it back on his preferred right foot, you love to see it. He just can't bend it on frame, but that's what you want to see from Jake LaCava. You know, he does drift interior a little bit, but when he doesn't get that ball, you want to see him get wide where he can really operate in space.
And that was the exact move we saw to take the lead early against Tampa 2 games ago. Sometimes it feels like the only one holding Jake LaCava back in the attack is Jake LaCava.
Yeah, Jake, you know, if he's not getting some opportunities, he's going to look to find the game, and you can see that's when he starts drifting inside a little bit, where, granted, there is room in this match to do so, but you know where he's at his best is these 1v1 opportunities on the end line, or excuse me, on the touch line, trying to get forward and put defenders on their heels. But no, Darcy's been, you know, very good here tonight, but Jake LaCava got the better of him there.
Yearwood with an early ball, can't link up with a teammate. Kuzminski out to guide that one, and it'll roll out for the goal kick. Dying moments of this one. DZ Harmon in the 2nd minute. Matthias Jorgensen in the 5th. Josh Penn in the 10th minute. And then Claudio Repetto here in the dying moments of the first half. A 3-1 lead for the Charleston Battery on the road. An explosive matchup here. 2 teams who have tied twice already this season. Charleston looking to break out in the matchup. Raffanello. Direct ball over the top, won by Hogan, one of 8 players returning to the starting lineup for the Battery here on the road, and it has been a positive return for these players here in this first half to start. That man, Claudio Repetto, refuses to stop scoring. Jabal Perez, 2 assists already. Josh Penn opening his Charleston Battery account. For Matthias Jorgensen, so far the lone strike, but we saw from Jake LaCava, it only takes a moment for this New York Red Bull 2 team, and you got to imagine we've got a ton of goals still left in this one. We'll be back to take a look at our first half highlights, a look around the league in the USL Championship, and we'll get our second half action coming up in just a moment here on ESPN+.
I'll give you something, make you shake it.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics. And our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to JD Power. #1 in reliability 16 times in a row. Most awarded for network quality 27 times in a row. Proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network.
We believe healthcare can keep getting better. That we can make it simpler, kinder, and even more miraculous. So we'll keep pushing ourselves to make our best even better. Because that means you will keep getting better too. Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better.
MSU Soccer Park, the site of this one, between New York Red Bulls 2 and Charleston Battery. But Patriots Point down in Charleston, South Carolina, the home stadium for the Charleston Battery, hosting a little bit of a viewing party here on a Friday night. What a perfect night to get out and watch some soccer for the Charleston fans. So a big hello to anyone out watching this game, and of course all of you at home watching as well. What a beautiful new venue this has been. And what a game for these fans to get out and watch. And they've had a lot to cheer for, and especially for this man, Claudio Repetto.
I can hear them cheering from down in Charleston. What a goal.
Forza, forza.
What a goal for the Genoa native. Just roofs it. And you can tell this is a company. He knows exactly where the cameras are. And he says, get off of me. I've got to pose real quick. What a goal for Charleston to go up 3-1 at the half. And they just look so confident in this match.
They don't just make pesto in Genoa. They make quality and class as well. On the flip side, Omar Sow inches away from equalizing earlier in this game. He's been dangerous, though, throughout.
Yeah, Omar's been really active in this match and, coming back, winning balls as they asked the forwards to do in this Red Bull system. You got to do the work defensively, but going forward, he's been really good. Look at this touch on the Drew Yearwood through ball, and he just puts such a good strike on it, but Kuzminski makes such a good save.
Omar Sow sitting on 6 goals so far this season, 1 behind what was his team lead last year. And our crew got a chance to catch up with the young striker to learn a little bit more about Omar Sow. Let's take a look. Omar Sow in our goal and rips it!
My name is Omar Sow, and I'm from Gambia, West Africa. Being able to come here and move to Harrison and then have a professional team move in, a journey, a path was created for me. I didn't really have to go looking. Everything was kind of, home to me. Luckily, the team being Red Bulls, building their own arena, that even made me want to thrive even more into my career. Like, hey, I could play for this team. Like, my dad could walk to the game, my family could walk to the game. That's what started my, hey, you could be a professional type of mentality. And who knows, the future holds a lot of different things. So I'm just hoping that mine is to be able to play in that arena in my backyard.
And Omar Sow taking the proper steps to get there. He has been a stud since signing on with New York Red Bulls 2 in 2019. It's a family affair with him. His older brother, Modu, was a New Jersey Player of the Year as a center back in high school. His younger brother, Mustafa, now crushing things in MLS next with PDA as well. But Omar, such a bright light for this New York Red Bulls group.
Omar's what an incredible player, what an incredible human being. The guy always has a smile on his face, and you can tell when he's confident in his role as a forward, he's just banging in goals. And you can tell from those stats, 89 goals in high school. The Sow family are legends in Harrison, and we know that one day he's looking forward to get out to Red Bull Arena and play there, and we'd love to see him out there as well.
And he started as a center back in high school and still put up 89 goals and 67 assists. Well, he's got 45 minutes to try and match his career best, 7 goals, if he can get one here in the second half. We've got all your action coming up in just a moment here on ESPN+.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
City double their money. And how sweet the sound in Lynn Family Stadium.
We believe healthcare can keep getting better. That we can make it simpler, kinder, and even more miraculous. So we'll keep pushing ourselves to make our best even better. Because that means you will keep getting better too. Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better.
Substitutes out warming up on the field. Let's take a look around the USL Championship. The standings there for Charleston Battery. A win tonight would, for a moment, put them back into the playoffs. Hartford Athletic traveling down to Miami for a huge Atlantic Division matchup later this weekend. Of course, all your action on ESPN Plus through the weekend. You get a look at some of those games coming up. We mentioned Loudoun United's 4-1 win over Indy 11, just showing how strong the Atlantic Division is. Some big matchups out west as well. A nice Texas derby. Copa Tejas, between El Paso and Rio Grande Valley. You take a look at some of the news and notes from around the league. Chris Wehan, one of the cleanest ball servers in the league, going back to where he made his name. New Mexico United, 17 goals in 2 years with New Mexico before starting this year with Orange County. Kyle Murphy dominating things for Memphis as they now are within a win of a playoff spot in the Central Division. And it took a little while for Landon Donovan's side to find their feet, but they have found them quite comfortably in San Diego. Dominating out west, a 5-1 win over Las Vegas. Miguel Ibarra part of that. A few more pieces coming on loan, including Augustine Williams over the last week for the Loyal. Let's take a look at the stats in this side. New York Red Bulls too. You can see it out there, but surprisingly for the way they want to play, that big 60% possession number.
Yeah, I think they've done some good things in this match, and they've put themselves in good positions in the final third. They just, a couple passes have gone astray, haven't looked totally crisp in the combinations, but have had some good chances. Kuzminski keeping Omar Sow off the goal sheet. Jake LaCava coming close at the end of the half. So it's been interesting so far.
New York Red Bulls 2 fans braving the weather, and they've gotten a treat so far. 4 goals in the first half as the rain has finally stopped, but the downpour has come from these two sides. We'll be back with first half highlights and second half action coming up on ESPN+.
Every year, the average person generates nearly 1 ton of waste, with more than 250 million tons of garbage being buried in U.S. landfills annually. At Covanta, we are working to change that and ensure no waste is ever wasted. We believe the materials discarded every day should be utilized to their fullest potential to preserve the world's valuable resources and generate clean energy for our communities and the world we live in. This is how Covanta is powering today and protecting tomorrow.
Yeah. Real City.
I'll give you something, make you shake it, shake. Flipping on the upside.
New York Red Bulls 2, Charleston Battery. An incredible first half, 4 goals. Let's take a look at the highlights and how we got here. And Connor, both these coaching staff said every time we face off, it's high energy, it's hectic, and didn't take long to get started.
Yeah, you know you have to have a good start, and look at this ball in. DZ Harmon just has a fantastic finish. But Jabel Perez just puts in a beautiful ball that skips right to his head. Luca Lewis tries to come out, be aggressive, and get it, but DZ Harmon wins the race. Then coming back the other way, Austin Brummett, look at the run there from Matthias Jorgensen. Austin Brummett just finds him in stride and tucks it. A little kiss off the crossbar into the roof of the net. What a goal for Matthias Jorgensen.
And Joe Kuzminski couldn't do anything about that one. He was able to make a couple big saves later on, but A.J. Patterson deputizing at center back the last few weeks, back in his left back spot, making things happen.
Just a beautiful ball. Look at the combination from Harmon, who's been very active in this match, but Patterson with a beautiful teasing ball across the box and pen, makes no mistake about it, and buries it.
And then in the dying moments of the first half, 2-1 lead becomes 3-1, and who else but that man Repetto, his 6th goal in 10 appearances this season in less than 2 months.
If there's one man you cannot leave unmarked in the box, it is Claudio Repetto. And he shows you exactly why there, and look at the confidence. You love to see it from the young man there.
And you just see in that moment, bodies flying everywhere, everyone trying to figure out what's happening, and Repetto, completely calm, knows exactly what to do. We mentioned the gauntlet of a schedule coming up for New York Red Bulls 2. They head to Miami FC. Quick turnaround for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Home here against Hartford. Those 3 all in the playoffs currently. And of course then, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, the best team of the Eastern Conference last year. On the flip side, for Charleston, one of those unique out-of-conference games against Orange County next. And then it is big playoff games coming. Hartford Athletic once again, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and Miami FC to close out these next 5 games for Charleston. They would love to end tonight, at least for a moment, back in the playoffs. As Coach Anhauser said to us before the game, it really is a 2-game streak. You're back in, 2 games lost, you're back out. And so he knows how up and down this conference is going to be, and he would like for this to be the start of an up.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a key, and they know that this is a game, looking at these schedules going forward. It becomes to get closer and closer as it gets towards the end of the season. You got to start accumulating points and separating yourselves from the group, but it looks hardly like anyone's going to separate themselves in this Atlantic Division, and I think you've got to start accumulating points sooner rather than later, and this is one that Charleston have their eye on.
New York Red Bulls 2. Same 11 that started the game out here on the field. And for this Charleston Battery side, they're able to return the same 11 as well. LaCava now flying forward. So back into the run of LaCava, and Archer reads it perfectly.
Yeah, Archer puts his body in such a good position. Jake LaCava can't get in on the end of that ball from Omar So. But you know, he's one of those defenders. If you get within his vicinity, get an arm, you know, within arm's reach, he's going to win that battle. And even how strong Jake LaCava is, and he just can't get on the end of it. And Archer does so well to draw the foul.
And almost the exact way the first half started, with LaCava a darting run to open things up, and then it was this man Harmon about 30 seconds later who gave the Battery the lead. And Harmon somehow sneaks away from two black shirts. His cross put in, pushed on by Perez, and out for a goal kick.
Almost carbon copy of the start of this first half there. 2 chances by each side, so you know this is going to be a heavyweight fight until the final whistle, and I think we're both expecting more goals in this one.
Tom Bull lets that one run.
I'd like to see Matthias Jorgensen get a little bit more involved in this match. I know he's, you know, relies a little bit more on service. You know, he can stretch the field, get in behind, use that speed, and I'd like to see New York. They've been pretty good in possession, and like I said, getting into that final third, things have broken down a little bit, but I like to see them switch it up a little bit, get a little bit more direct at times to Matthias in behind, and that will open things up for them to play a little bit more underneath.
And Jorgensen, we said, his first start in basically a year plus of professional soccer, but he's been able over the last few weeks to build his way back up off the bench for New York Red Bulls too. A.J. Patterson going sliding in there into Austin Brummett from behind. And so Patterson, just a conversation there with our head official, Jeremy Shear. So the ball played in. Jorgensen gets on the end of it, and the flag goes up.
It's a great opportunity there for Matthias. Just offside. That's what you want to see for this New York side. If they want to get back in this match, you want this guy to be a little bit more active, getting him on the ball a bit more, and so it's promising from New York.
Jorgensen, the emotion when he scored that goal in the first half. Getting back to doing what he loves once again. It has been a frustrating 2 years. He and Drew Yearwood, 2 big-time additions to the New York Red Bulls, who have an opportunity to use this Red Bull 2 side to sort of find their feet once again.
And I think it's been interesting, you know, this year, kind of as you've brought guys down, there's been some good performances, and then there's, you know, really been a terrible one up in Hartford with the big loss
Basically
of the season.
Full MLS side losing 7-0 or 7-1.
Which I know is extremely disappointing, but I think it's, you know, sometimes it's obviously great for these guys to come down, get minutes, and obviously it's big for them in their personal development, but I think sometimes it's tough for the side. You don't know what to expect lineup-wise, and I think it's tough on a week-by-week basis with other clubs around the USL. You have that continuity and that consistency in your lineup, and you develop those relationships. So that's what's been tough really for New York this entire COVID era.
Patterson out wide. Perez with the ball played in. Tom Bull too calm. Lewis makes the save. Repetto inches away from making it 2 goals in this game as that one flashes just over the top from Nodarse.
Repetto, what an opportunity. Spot on. Amir Tombul, way too casual in that clearance there, and goes right off Patterson and right onto Repetto's foot, and what a save by Luca Lewis. But Repetto made it a little bit too easy for him. I don't think he expected that ball coming to him, but was able to get it on frame, just not in a corner to beat Lewis.
What a just loss Patterson was having to play at center back for this team. Even with only 1 assist so far this year, just feels like so much of the game goes through him. Yearwood slides this out wide for Raffanello. Raffanello, early cross, knocked away.
These are the positions we'd love to see Jeremy Raffanello get into. We haven't seen a ton this match, a little bit early on in the first half, and I think he's been pinned back a lot defensively with Jabel Perez, who's been really dangerous getting in behind him, so I'm sure that sits in the back of his mind. But when you have opportunities to get forward, that's what you want to see from Jeremy Raffanello, and that's the right idea. Get that ball in behind, kind of that pass across the 6, but is unable to beat the back line. But it's a good look for New York, and they got a corner here.
It'll be Edelman to take. Red Bulls, too, have not been extremely dangerous this season off corners. As Failing puts that first corner back out for a second opportunity. So what can New York Red Bulls 2 cook up here? Tom Boole and So and Raffanello lurking on the far post. LaCava back to Edelman. Edelman's left-footed ball. Kuzminski comes out and takes it.
I like the idea from New York there to switch it up a little bit. I think sometimes, like you mentioned, they haven't been super dangerous, so sometimes you want to see them get a little bit more creative and try to draw that Charleston team out. But that ball in from Edelman was lofted too much. Kuzminski, comfortable save for him.
Patterson's been in some physical battles to open this second half. Yearwood and Edelman starting to get comfortable together in midfield. Yearwood once again forward for Edelman. And Kelly trying to win it from behind. And he gets called for the foul. So another set piece opportunity coming here for New York.
Yeah, that looks like that could have been a yellow card worthy offense there, as New York was in a good position. Daniel Edelman getting in behind. Kelly with a strong tackle on Edelman. He's gingerly getting up, but a big opportunity for New York here. You want to see them get some quality service in this box. And Charleston does have a big side, but New York does have some big numbers in there with Omar Sow, Matthias Jorgensen, Amir Tombol. So you want to see a dangerous whipped-in ball here. That puts Kuzminski in a tough spot here.
It'll be Edelman to take it once again. The 19-year-old wearing the captain's armband for the first time. What is most likely going to be a long, successful professional career. And Edelman now serves it in. And knocked away at the far post. Yearwood on top of the second ball. His pass knocked away. It'll be a corner kick now for New York Red Bulls too.
Yeah, such a proud moment for Daniel Edelman to be wearing that armband. And I'm sure for the entire New York Red Bulls organization, the academy, thrilled. But what a moment for him, and I'm sure that's going to be a moment to remember.
And the whole Edelman family. I think I saw his brother walking around as this one served in. Daniel Edelman, Raffanello, a second bite at it. Failing, heads it up. Perez pushes it along. No foul called. Tombol now finding So. Edelman back into the middle. Archer clears it. And Tombol now all the way back to the feet of Lewis.
There's a lot of guys, with a lot of USL experience. You don't always often get to say that with this New York team, but they don't throw around that armband for anything. And that Daniel Edelman, I think it's a testament to him and everything that he's brought into this group at such a young age. But they've got such confidence in him, and he, not only in the locker room but on the field, he's a leader. He's a natural leader, and I think it's been exciting to see him really grow into this season.
He's led the team in minutes this year in what has been a chaotic season for many teams as So draws the foul. He has started in central midfield alongside academy players like Sam Williams making their debut, all the way up to Drew Yearwood, who's a young designated player and has played professionally over in England. And so he's had to kind of oscillate between all those roles, and he's done it well so far this season. You'd have to think if youth national teams are operating like normal, he'd be with the U20 group under Anthony Hudson over the course of the season. Another opportunity here for Edelman to serve this one in. So we've seen Kuzminski come out and be aggressive on these last few set pieces. Can New York make one of these count? Edelman hits it low. Kelly intercepts it. Failing out wide for Perez. Kelly now with the ball over the top for Repetto. His layoff taken down by Perez, but a handball called. And New York looking to go immediately. And Brummett, fortunate to see that pass make it to LaCava, and just too long for Jorgensen.
That's what you want to see from New York. You got to get this tempo back up. It's been a little bit too slow. Charleston, obviously, up 3-1. They've been comfortable, and they can slow down the game. There's been a lot of fouls, and that's what you want to do against a team like New York. You want to slow the game down, and so you want to see New York, when you have a moment to pick up the tempo, go for it.
Tomball with the header. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM-FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can also hear live action from USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM-FC, channel 157, and the Sirius XM app. Is European soccer off and running while I was on the way here today. Big shout out to your former coach, Jesse Marsch, who got his first career German Bundesliga win as a head coach. RB Leipzig knocking off Stuttgart 4-0. Pellegrino Matarazzo, also a New Jersey native. So big afternoon for the Garden State over in Germany.
Go figure.
Ball played in here. Penn shot. It took a deflection and almost snuck past Lewis.
Great opportunity there. Penn gets really unlucky on that deflection. I think that it's going to be a really dangerous shot there. You can see a great layoff, and Penn wraps his foot around it, but New York gets the deflection. Charleston gets a corner here.
Battery haven't had many chances from set pieces. Failing serves it in to the far post. Knocked away by Tomball. Second chance coming. Ball still alive in the box. Castillo heads it along, and finally Raffanello clears.
Repetto, what a dangerous ball he put across the box there.
No Darce battling with Yearwood. Yearwood does enough to bring it away for New York. Yearwood into the feet of LaCava. LaCava's got runners around him. Will he go himself one-on-one with Archer? LaCava's shot is blocked.
What a fantastic job by Archer. Great run by Jake LaCava.
And it wasn't blocked.
We've seen, yeah, it looks like he caught that ball wrong, but this is where you've seen Jake LaCava score goals 100 times. Gets into space, put things on his turn, but like we said, Archer, such a strong defender, makes it difficult for him and just doesn't catch that ball right, puts it in the netting behind the goal.
Mr. Chaos, Jake LaCava, trying to get back onto the score sheet. He has had a couple huge looks. One in the dying moments of the first half that he wrapped just around the far post. Trying to make it 3-2. Heading into the locker room, New York. They've huffed and puffed in this second half. Patterson beautifully puts it off of Raffanello. Does this Red Bull 2 side have another goal or two in them to get all the way back?
Looks like New York's going back into this match. I think it looked a little stagnant at the beginning, and Charleston looked comfortable, had some chances, but they've been knocking on the door. And I think on that Jake LaCava chance, what a play by Drew Yearwood, collecting the ball in his own 18, wiggling out of pressure, and plays such a good ball to break pressure into Jake LaCava. And those are the spots you want to find this guy, tell him when he's got the opportunity to turn and really get after this defense.
And Perez almost put that one into the path of Penn, looking for a hat trick of assists in this one. And another corner kick coming for the Battery. And interesting, I think, Archer and Hogan both going up for this one. And while they have the advantage and you want to continue to push, it was a corner kick opportunity that led to New York's last break.
I think Charleston, I think both teams know in this match.
Goals.
There is goals to be had, and a 3-1 lead may not be safe.
Failing serves it in. Headed away. Defensively now, can New York transition into the attack? And it's on. Black jerseys flying forward. LaCava's got 2 runners outside of him. He lays it over for Brummett. Brummett now, closed down, gets it to Raffanello. Raffanello's right-footed shot goes wide. A wasted opportunity by the home side to cut this lead in half.
Wow. That was just, what an opportunity for New York. 3v1.
Is it too casual here from LaCava? Is it Brummett? What happened?
I think Jake LaCava, Patterson does such a good job to delay him a little bit, but that ball I think is just a little bit behind Brummett. But Jeremy Raffanello, I think you've got to, I don't know. I mean, who knows? He's been in some scoring form. You know he's an attacker by trade. He gets in that position. You're looking to get a goal, but I just think overall, I think you need a little bit more dynamic play there. I'd like to see, you'd like to see a better opportunity for New York there. It's got to be disappointing.
As you said, that pass a little bit behind from LaCava. We saw him on the break last time go himself. This time he chooses to lay it off. Didn't allow Brummett to get into the path of Raffanello. And then, because of that pass, felt too dangerous for him to put it across with the recovering runs from this Charleston side. New York off into the attack again. So's pass, beautifully handled by Archer, and Patterson now back to help.
One thing I will say, A.J. Patterson, you know, in a 3v, you can see a big tackle there from Tom Bull.
I assume a yellow card coming here, so the first of the game for a New York Red Bull 2 player, second of the game overall. And Tom Bull, I think, more absent-minded than malicious as he put his foot in a dangerous spot. He is quite a tall human being. And Jabel Perez worse off for that. 1 yellow card shown in the first half. That one was to Frank Darce.
I think getting back to that opportunity, I think A.J. Patterson does so well. You know, he, in that position, 3v1 as a defender, you've just got to delay as much as possible. You got to limit those chances, and he, you know, I think he could even take away those 2 options a little bit more. But then again, you do have Jake LaCava there, who, in theory, probably is the most dangerous option out of the 3. So he does a good job to delay as much as possible, but then you got to commit a little bit. He takes a pretty good angle on it, which forces Jake LaCava to play that ball a little bit behind Austin Brummett. So I think in a situation like that, A.J. Patterson does pretty well. So I think that's credit to him for disrupting that play as much as he could.
Well, he's got an assist already. He's helped his team stay ahead here in this second half. And for New York Red Bulls, too. This has been the story of this season, but especially this homestand. They were up 1-0 here against the Rowdies, and Omar Sow looked like had an easy ball to just lay across the box to make it a 2-0 lead. He doesn't. Minutes later, the Rowdies score. They are able to come back and win 2-1, and then in the last game against Charlotte, New York Red Bulls, too, left some big opportunities on the board when the game was still at 2-2 and end up losing maybe against the run of play 3-2. So will these opportunities come back to bite them once again here? And it looks like Connor, J.C. Cortez and Castillo may have swapped permanently along that left defensive side for John Wolenek. You mentioned how you liked the way Castillo played at center back in the last game. Looks like John Wolenek in agreement with you.
Yeah, I think you want to see some stability there, and I think J.C. Cortez may be struggling a little bit here. You can see him bend over, and there you see him get subbed out here.
So Luther Arshimidi will come on for J.C. Cortez, which Arshimidi a forward, so it'll mean a couple other changes coming to the shape here, you'd think, for New York Red Bulls too. Arshimidi appearing in the Gold Cup for Guadalupe. And this is New York Red Bulls' debut. Drafted by New York Red Bulls as their first round pick here in the 2021 Super Draft. It's taken a while to get himself settled in and over in the United States and eligible to play. And then injured in the Gold Cup with Guadalupe has kept him on the bench, but finally an opportunity to put on the black and silver and get out on the field. Makava down back behind the play, and it looks like Archimede will play at right back.
And I think I've been waiting. I think this has been a story of the year for John Wolyniec. I think in the beginning of the year when he had Luther Archimede and, you know, this stable of really quote-unquote nines, I think he said he was probably the most true nine that he had. And obviously, Matthias Jorgensen wasn't here at that point, so I think that changed a little bit with Matthias Jorgensen here. But to make that debut, I don't think any of us would have guessed that he'd be making it at right back.
He serves this one to the far post, and maybe only he would have been able to get up and get ahead on that one. As Kuzminski comes down with it. Archimede out of the Sochaux Academy, one of the best in France. And then coming over stateside to play at Syracuse, as well as with his national team with Guadalupe. And the 20-year-old was born. So Raffanello at left back, Castillo at center back, and Archimede at right back. There should be more goals in this side, and we'd expect some more in this game. 3 in the first 10 minutes to open it up. And now two teams that have created a ton of opportunities in this second half as well.
So you got one true center back on the field. You got about 6 or 7 guys who can play in that 9. New York's going after this one.
Coach Wolyniec needs 3 points as Nodarse now is signaling with an injury back behind the play. At the same time as Harmon goes down. 2 subs preparing to come on for Charleston anyway. So Nodarse's evening most likely done. Seems like he won't be able to go on. So it was an emergency 3-game loan for Nodarse. You'd have to think Charleston's going to do everything they can to extend that loan, as Juan Castillo's issued a yellow card. Harmon, what a game for him. A goal, linked up with Patterson on the second goal, and has just been a threat pressing up top by himself throughout.
He's been so good. He's been so active. You can tell, I mean, what an important piece for this Charleston team. And you look at the depth that they could pull off the bench, you know, like you mentioned before, Zico Lewis, Stavros Zaracostas, you know, so many guys that you can pull. Q Daly, I mean, about as stacked as any team could be in this Atlantic Division. I think that, you know, you look up and down this division, some incredible attacking talent, and sure, Coach Anheuser's super excited with the stable of attackers that he has.
So Serge Goma and Sam Williams will check in place of Matthias Jorgensen, who gets his first goal since 2019 in a true professional soccer game. And Sam Williams, who made his debut as a starter for the 16-year-old a couple weeks ago, forced into the starting lineup last game as well with those last-minute changes. And he's performed very comfortably in defensive midfield. Castillo now sitting on a yellow card, draws the foul. We've got the subs finally coming for Charleston. It looks like Robbie Crawford, who started in the last game, will come back in for this side. Nikiu Daly, as well as Romario Pigot. We'll see how Coach Anheuser chooses to move these pieces around. And these players a natural right back. So it'll be interesting to see who takes over for Nodarse. And it looks like Repetto's evening is done. So 6 goals in 10 appearances. Aaron, I think he touched the ball about 7 times. 2 of them were chances on goal, and 1 of them was one.
I mean, that's
efficiency.
That's a sign of a true good number 9. And when you get your chances, you're effective. And he was exactly that here tonight, and exactly as advertised. The star player showed up tonight for Charleston.
We talk about that attacking talent. We had not even mentioned Nikiu Daly. 5 goals, 2 assists this year. Jamaican U20 international. Just 20 years old. Another bright attacking piece for this battery side as Kava does enough to get that out wide for Raffanello. Goma fresh off the bench, pressuring Archer, and he fouls Archer. So it looks like Burke Failing has slid to the right back spot as Crawford will fill in alongside Kelly in central midfield. And then the other 2 attacking pieces in Pigot and Nikiu Daly coming in up top. Like-for-like changes for Perez and Repetto. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ plus community through the Forever Proud project. The USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/forever-proud. Edelman in space. Big switch for the run of Archimedes. Archimedes' early low ball knocked away by Hogan. He go just off the bench. Put under some pressure. Archimedes settling in quickly at the right back spot. First professional soccer game. First game for your new club as Castillo lets fly. First game at right back, which is why not, right?
I mean, I'm sure
making life easy.
The weight that he's had to get on the field for this team, I'm sure he doesn't care.
He probably said at some point, I'd play anywhere.
Listen, I've been one to really put my hat in the ring for every position around the field as long as it got me on there, so I understand where he's coming from there.
Connor Lade, the American number 10, we never knew we needed.
You'll have to ask Jesse Marsh how many times I asked if I was going to go in at center back. Too many times.
Listen, with the 3-5-2 now, you're like a natural right center back.
There you go.
Raffanello with an interception. Miscommunication between him and LaCava and Failing. Can't keep it in play. Taken quickly for So. Back to Edelman. Edelman trying to up the tempo here of this game as we enter the final quarter of this one. 3 goals in 10 minutes for an early 2-1 lead for the Battery. Third goal for the away side in the dying moments of the first half. Claudio Repetto, as he continues to tear this league up in his rookie season. The New York Red Bulls, too, have come out with energy, with chances here in the second half, but they haven't had that finishing touch. Williams under pressure. And the foul will go in favor of the young academy player. For New York Red Bulls, too, their minutes leader, Joey Zielinski, as well as a few other big pieces, including Roll Mitchell, who had a goal and a penalty kick drawn down in Charleston, headed off to start their college soccer careers. It's created space for players like Williams, Goma, and Cortez to get into this team now. Williams taking advantage so far of the chance.
I think he's had some good performances yet far. And
ball over the top. Kuzminski comes out and punches it. So goes down in a heap. It's still alive in the box and finally cleared by Charleston. And now our head referee, Jeremy Shear, will blow his whistle as contact with Omar So's head means he'll stop play and have him assessed by a medical professional.
Yeah, it's a tough 50-50 there. Omar Sow gets his head on it. Kuzminski coming out full force.
Right now, you can see Edelman's conversation with Jeremy Shear. The consistent look on John Wolinek's face during a game. Upset, and I think the question is, if Kuzminski doesn't get the ball and Omar Sow is down, is it not a penalty kick?
Yeah, I think that's the argument from not only John Wolinek, but multiple coaches and players on the bench there. And you'll see the replay. Ball in from Daniel Edelman, trying to find Omar Sow, who does get his hand on it. Kuzminski doesn't get the ball.
It's very rarely called.
Yep.
Normally it's goalkeeper is allowed to make a play, and that's just the way that the game is refereed. But Omar Sow gets his head to it first, and Kuzminski comes over and does not get any of the ball in his attempt.
If that series is reversed and Omar Sow is hitting
100%.
Kuzminski, it's going to be an instant yellow card. Probably a fight out here, but you know, you got to protect your keepers.
Absolutely. You don't sound bitter at all.
I love goalkeepers. Don't get that wrong. But yeah, I think it's
because Ryan Mira just came bolting up the
yeah, exactly.
up the bleachers.
I love you goalkeepers, but yeah, I think unless you're trying to take that ball down, trying to get that on the chest from Omar Sow, yeah, it's rare you're going to get that call.
So Temi Adesaden will come on here in place of Josh Penn, and what a first half for Penn. He was a threat. He scores the goal. His first start for this Charleston Battery side. Had, of course, made some USL Championship starts for Indy 11 as an academy player in 2019. But you can see why so many people, including the U.S. men's national team, are excited about this young player.
He had a terrific performance tonight. Was so active, really, from the opening whistle. It was dangerous down this right side. Him and Castillo going back and forth, but in the big moments, he really stood up and showed his quality.
So it looks like it'll be a drop ball for us to continue play, as Omar Sow now is walking off with one of the trainers back behind the goal. We'll see if the assessment means he's allowed to continue playing or not. New York Red Bulls, too, of course, already brought on their two attacking subs in Archimede and Goma. Brought on Sam Williams as well. They've got two goalkeepers on the bench in James Centrone and Sam Joseph. And then Michael Knapp, who is on the bench, I believe has not passed the fitness test over the last few games. It may be different now, but as the rain starts to fall once again, there's a chance New York Red Bulls still will have to finish this game out down a man.
Wondering if the goalkeepers have any outfield experience here. I think Luther Archimede might be asking for one of the keepers to come on at right back so we can get higher up the field. Or you know what? Maybe it's kitchen sink time and just throw the big man up there.
He is still stretched out wide as LaCava finds a little bit of a gap. Archer able to shield off Goma. Rolls all the way back there to the feet of Kuzminski. Charleston Battery looking for 3 big points on the road. They may have done just enough to try and blunt this New York Red Bull 2 attack, as Brummett, though, links up with Goma. Kuzminski's out. Goma rounds the keeper, and his shot goes across the box.
Wow, Serge Goma. So close. What a fantastic run in behind. Does so well to beat Kuzminski to that ball, but the angle is just a little bit too much for him to redirect that on frame. Huge opportunity.
And you have to think Omar Sow would have been lurking in the box there for Goma to try and find. A little bit too tight of an angle to get a shot away. And the heavens open up for the second time here in Montclair, New Jersey. And this has been the story of this game for New York Red Bulls, too. And it was a goal line save from Archer.
There you go. Archer playing hero. What a save on the goal line from the big man. And it's a fantastically timed run from Serge Goma. And great ball in there from Austin Brummett. You can see the connection from the two academy guys.
Brummett and Goma have led the line for the U17s throughout a chunk of MLS Next play so far this year. You mentioned the New York Academy Derby, which we were able to call for the 15s and 17s, and Brummett was the leading man. As a yellow card shown here to Robbie Crawford. Brummett had a goal and an assist to take down arch rivals NYCFC. NYCFC, of course, heading across the river, coming up on Saturday. Sunday? That's tomorrow. Tomorrow. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, if you're in the area, come out to Red Bull Arena. If not, you can watch it, I think, on FS1. And a chance on the break here. Niku Daly, and it's saved by Lewis.
Luca Lewis, yet another massive save.
And Lewis is going to have to here as this game opens up. Red Bulls 2 pushing for that second goal. LaCava gets to the end line. His cross is knocked away. A second chance here for LaCava, headed away by Archer. Archimede saving it for the home team. And you can hear the rain coming down once again. Edelman gets to the end line. And Edelman draws a free kick, and this may be Edelman's best attacking game so far in his young professional career.
Absolutely. Daniel Edelman's been so aggressive getting forward. You can tell even on the couple of these breaks, he's been just absolutely sprinting his heart out, getting upfield, trying to get on the end of things and provide some offensive spark to this New York side, and drawn multiple free kicks.
Raffanello to serve this one in. He tries to put it on goal himself, and it goes just long.
Yeah, another opportunity squandered by New York. You'd want to see, they've gotten so many direct free kicks from in and around the area. You want to see some better service that can provide a good opportunity for your team. But you look at this speed from Niku Daly. He just absolutely incredible breakaway speed there. Blazes past Castillo and Tom Bull, but Luca Lewis is up to the task, and I think that would have been the nail in the coffin there for New York.
The USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent and helping players transition to their USL senior teams. For more information, visit usl-academy.com. As I mentioned, Josh Penn, who scored a goal out here today, an academy player who was able to appear in USL Championship games for Indy 11. This Charleston team as well. We talked about all this local talent, including MJ Petrie, who made his professional soccer debut against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, a Charleston, South Carolina native, just 17 years old. Part of this next generation, as Kuminski was shown that yellow card for time wasting. And now Hogan getting looked at. And it's been bend but don't break for Pat Hogan and Leland Archer and Kuzminski. All three of them, as we said, returning from injuries, huge additions. It hasn't been perfect. They've left gaps. They've done just enough to make it tough for the New York Red Bull 2 attackers.
And I think they each and every one of them is picked up for the next one. You can see Kuzminski beaten by Serge Goma. Leland Archer is there. You know, Leland Archer has been beaten. Kuzminski has a big save. So I think, you know, each and every one of them, they know there's such a good connection between all these guys on this roster that pick up for one another. So it's been interesting. I think bend but not break is the perfect way to put it here tonight. But Charleston has had, you know, made the most of their opportunities. New York, on the other hand, hasn't been able to do so.
Kuzminski's not coming out of the game. He's just going over to get a new water bottle and a clean towel, as he's going to have to try and keep his gloves dry somehow over these next few minutes. The rain really starting to pour. It was a huge rainstorm. You can see our fans trying to stay dry. Started about 5:30 p.m. Eastern time here, and this game kicked off at 7. And so a lot of these fans came out to brave the rain. The rain just stopped right in the opening minutes of this game, and then has opened back up here for the dying moments. Charleston Battery still lead 3-1 on the road. This win, they would, at least for the night, move back into playoff position. And you look at this game for New York Red Bulls too. They've had chances. They want goals, of course. It's 63% possession right now, which isn't how New York wants to play. Charleston has allowed them to, and it's played into their hands.
I think that's the realization you have to come to. You know, not every game is going to be set up perfectly to your game plan, and, you know, playing against the ball and getting the goal quickly. I think there is times where you are going to have the ball, and oftentimes teams are going to challenge you to have the ball and try to break them down.
Ball over the top here off the free kick. Raffanello knocks it back.
And it's all about being versatile with how you can play. And New York, to be fair, you know, has had a lot of really good chances here tonight, but they haven't either, you know, had that right service at the end of it, get that connection in. As you can see, a foul. Ralston Brummett there, but just things have broken down in the final third one way or another. And, you know, whether that's a good performance from the defense or Kuzminski, but just hasn't all clicked here tonight for New York.
Odessa Dunn able to draw that free kick, and now Crawford, who came off the bench in this one, already sitting on a yellow card, will serve it in. So Hogan and Archer have stayed back this time for this free kick. As we saw, 2 corner kicks for Charleston lead to breaks for New York. As this one served in, knocked down, Brummett clears it away, and Archer's right there to handle it. He'll serve it back into the attack. Patterson's header down, claims for handball. Harmon now out wide for Failing. Failing with a big ball to the far post. 2 white jerseys open and cleared away by Arshimidi. Don't forget New York Red Bulls too playing man down here since Omar Sow has gone off with an injury.
I think it's been tough for John Wolnick to put a complete roster together. You know, they just haven't had bodies available to them. I think throughout the whole organization, like we mentioned, the MLS side really hasn't been able to have that luxury of letting players down, which is normally in the plans for John Wolnick, really for almost a year and a half now, and you've gotten times here and there, as you can see, Drew Yearwood and Jason Pondon recently, but it's been tough. You're pulling up academy kids, you're pulling kids away from vacation, kids are going off to college. It's just an absolute nightmare for John Wolnick, and I'm sure he's excited to get back to some sort of normalcy, hopefully soon.
Crawford now once again. A second chance at this one. Hogan and Archer stay deep as well. Served into a dangerous area. Castillo heads it away to Brummett. Now LaCava. LaCava early ball over the top for Goma. Goma tries to touch it by Archer. Pulls it back, and Archer plays it beautifully.
It's a great job by Leland Archer there. Realizes the danger. Serge Goma, the touch just takes him too far. And he shepherds him and ends up collecting the ball. No danger.
Odessa Dunn now into space. Tomball with a slide tackle. And he's already on a yellow card. Couldn't afford to lose that one.
That's a fantastic tackle by Amir Tomball.
We'll have a minimum of 6 minutes of stoppage time coming up. Settleman returns the ball back. So it looks like the Battery have done enough. A goal inside of 2 minutes. They lost the lead 3 minutes later to Matthias Jorgensen. But then they were able to close out strong in the first half. Josh Penn in the 10th minute. And Claudio Repetto in the 44th minute will be enough for the Battery to hold on here on the road and get a massive road 3 points to stay in the playoff race. Charlotte Independents have started to turn things up. Hartford Athletic getting back into the win column against this Charleston side this week. They feel like they've strengthened for the playoff run. It is not going to be an easy fight to that 4th spot. No one is safe. Even the Riverhounds and the Rowdies are still looking over their shoulders. Theo heads that one down. Williams now up to Brummett. LaCava getting on his horse once again. LaCava cuts through the defense. His shot deflected and cleared by Hogan. And then Edelman with the header. LaCava's onside. Goma scores it and cuts it to 3-2.
They've been knocking on the door, and finally they get in there. 3-2. Serge Goma with the goal. Fantastic pressure from New York. They were relentless, and they were rewarded for it. Jake LaCava starts it with a fantastic run. You love to see the decisiveness. He wants one for himself. Deflection gets out to the top of the box. Daniel Edelman just gets absolutely leveled, and Jake LaCava just lays it on a plate to Serge Goma, who tucks it away neatly. 3-2, and we got some time left here, Dave.
I may have closed the door too soon. Serge Goma, congratulations to that young man. Welcome to the show, the teenager with his first career Red Bull 2 goal. He has been phenomenal, had an assist last week. Was one of the star performers against Charlotte. And right now, New York Red Bulls 2 trailing 3-2. The scoreline they lost by last game. Can they do a little bit more as Harmon was in on goal? One away by Lewis. And then Brummett gets pushed to the ground. And a reminder, New York Red Bulls 2 are playing down a man due to injury here. Omar Sow, their leading goal scorer, forced off the field after a head knock about 15 minutes ago. The rain has started to come down as well. These fans are sticking with their side through this one. What a moment for Daniel Edelman. The crash on that one, Connor, and to win that header to keep that attack alive.
That was huge. And in the play there, it looked like Amir Tumble just got kicked in the chest, and the referee, I don't know if he missed it or maybe it wasn't so, but absolutely huge play by Daniel Edelman to keep that attack alive, and lands right on the foot of Jake LaCava. And Daniel Edelman's been doing that all season, sacrificing his body for the team to make sure they're providing them some opportunities, and it plays a huge part in this match. His bodies are just flying everywhere right now. It's desperation time.
It is carnage right now out here on the field. New York Red Bulls 2, they're just looking for one more chance. Raffanello to the far post over everyone. Kuzminski came, faltered at the last second. That ball just a little too far. Every player on the field within 30 yards of each other, as Luca Lewis is all the way out at midfield now to clean up any issues. Castillo will take this long throw in the dying moments of stoppage time. Castillo high looping throw in. Williams gets a shot on it, and it falls into the safe arms of Kuzminski.
Minimal time here. There could be a couple chances left in this one. As you can see, Luther Archimedes finally made his way to the top. Finally, he's reached his preferred position on the field, and we'll see, is there any last chances in here for New York to level up this score?
McHugh Daly turns. Tom Bull with a slide tackle from behind. Don't forget, Daly's breakaway could have sealed the deal. It was a big save by Lewis on that one. And of course, a couple breakaways for New York that could have added that extra goal that would have given them a result right now. The Baby Bulls continue to push. Kelly surrounded by black shirts. Brummett now passing it off the foot of Patterson. Throw in coming in the dying seconds for New York Red Bulls 2. Williams for Raffanello to serve it in. Back to Williams. Williams with some space, slides it for Edelman, and it's just a little too far.
See the idea there from Sam Williams, but I think you want to put that ball into the box. You never know what's going to happen if you get it in there. I understand you see Daniel Edelman up there for the young man, but you got to put that ball in the dying seconds into where it's going to be most dangerous.
And will that be it? And it is. Jeremy Shear's whistle goes. We had 3 goals in the opening 10 minutes of this one. 5-goal thriller for the first time in the New York-Charleston matchup this year. There is a winner. The Charleston Battery come away with 3 road points. They move into the playoff spots for at least the night, as John Wolinek's side comes up just short at home with a number of big opportunities that they were not able to put away. We'll be back with your post-game coverage in just a moment here on ESPN+.
Every year, the average person generates nearly 1 ton of waste, with more than 250 million tons of garbage being buried in U.S. landfills annually. At Covanta, we are working to change that and ensure no waste is ever wasted. We believe the materials discarded every day should be utilized to their fullest potential to preserve the world's valuable resources and generate clean energy for our communities and the world we live in. This is how Covanta is powering today and protecting tomorrow.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics. And our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to JD Power. #1 in reliability 16 times in a row. Most awarded for network quality 27 times in a row. Proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network.
I'll give you something, make you shake it.
The rain coming down, but the fans have stayed strong through this one, and what a treat it was for them. 3-2 win by the Charleston Battery on the road. David Goss and Connor Lade with you. And Connor, I think the obvious moment of the match is the winner. And for Repetto, his 6th goal in less than 2 months of professional soccer.
You know, Darce just puts in a beautiful ball, and Repetto is just incredible. You know, he didn't have a ton of chances, like you said, but the ones he did have, he made the most of, and that's what dangerous number 9s do. They put themselves in positions to score, and that is the moment of the match. The star player tonight for Charleston gets the job done and just puts this lead out of reach for New York.
And his composure in front of goal, the thing that New York Red Bulls too were lacking in this one. Opportunities both ways, a ton of possession, but not enough goals for New York Red Bulls too. And for Charleston Battery, they get back to winning ways as you see that possession number. The opportunities for New York Red Bulls too as well. But what a game, what a treat this was. Thanks to all of you who were joining us for this one. For myself, David Goss, and my partner, Connor Lade. Have a great weekend.
Copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.